Hello and welcome to Patrick's Models and Transport. This is another of these edited videos with many small clips. So remember in the previous video, link in description box, but it's recent, with all the big long one with all the switch gear for the insulated sidings here on the Chapelon Crosti layout. There it is. Remember I told you that I'm going to modify the power track here, and the power track is here. So I had two options. One was to use this Jouef power, what do we call this? Power clip, power fork, we can call it a power plug. That's it, that's what it is. It's a power plug which slides under there like that, and the two manganese bronze contacts come in contact with the rail, with the bottom part of the rail, and then after, but of course this is missing its cable. It's being cut short, and excuse me, I'm doing things with one hand only, and I would have to drill out these rivets, open it up, do some very fine soldering inside, go literally a pain in the whatever. I'd go silly doing this, so I decided to go an easier and more permanent route, which will actually be much better for the layout. Also because I'm using the Chapelon Crosti, there it is again, the small layouts, to test a series of solutions which I'm then going to apply to my bigger layout, the one which is there behind the door. You can see it over there it is behind the door, the Brunel layout. Okay, so what did I do last night? Last night I took my piece of Jouef power track which was fitted to the layout near the goods shed, right there. You can see that it's been removed. There's my finger, and I cut this plastic plate underneath off. You can see that I cut that off completely. I just used my modeling clippers to cut into it, and then I also snipped off, I'm using a toothpick as a pointer, I also snipped off this step here. You see there's a kind of step here on the sleeper, so that the sleeper is the same size as other sleepers. And so once I have soldered my two lengths of cable, one here and one there, I've actually got space to fit a sleeper in there like that. This is a sleeper that I cut off another piece of Jouef track, a very scabby short piece on a buffer stop which was in very bad condition, so it donated me a sleeper. So once I've got my cables soldered under here, I'll just reinstate the sleeper and it'll look much better than having a great big enormous gap like that. So trying to make things be realistic and pleasant to the eye. Right, in the meantime my soldering iron should be warm, and we'll get going. Righto, let's get this soldered. Right, so here we've got the power track refitted. I've not screwed it down yet because I've still got to fit the sleeper, fit a sleeper, because you see that I cut out that part. That's the central part I actually cut out, and I'm going to fit a sleeper in there. I had already prepared a sleeper, but then I had to cut a bit out there. You can see there's a bit missing because I sort of cut it around the soldering point to have it straight, but to have it nice and sitting straight, and but I actually cut too much out, so I'm just going to take another sleeper and then file it down and see if it fits. I did this sort of a bit in a hurry last night, but this is just to show you before it gets too late, I'm going to actually drill the holes through the boards. So you can see where there's this red dot here. This is the hole where the cables are going to disappear under the boards, and then they're going to re-emerge in this other red dot here, because they're going to come back out, and this is where I'm going to fit the contact terminals for the crocodile clips, so that I can connect a controller on using crocodile clips. And this will be probably, I'm not staying too close to the track, not to bend the cables too much, because there's the soldering contacts, which are nice and tough anyway. I've checked them, double checked them, I don't have to redo them. And what else was I going to say? Here I might fit a wee platform or something, because the coaling station is going to be here, more or less. Coaling station, water tower, etc. The water crane will be all in this point here, and seeing there's a coaling station, there might be a wee platform just along here if you have to walk along, and or a step or something, anyway, something, because this is a good shed and you might anyway be needing to be closer to or something of the kind. Anyway, we'll see. I'll camouflage these two cables with something which will be permanent, because these cables here will be an integral part, these wires, of the layout, and will be not be needing to touch them anymore. So that's the main thing. Okay, very well. Now I'm going to just take this off in a second and show you how it is at the back. Okay, so here are our two soldered contacts underneath, where I cut out the plate for the sort of drawer part for sliding the contact plug in. We can see that's gone quite nice. And now all I need to do is fit a sleeper in here to fill in this space. This is the one that I had sort of trimmed. You can see that I've cut too much off there, so it's not very nice. I can file a bit less off, so I'm just going to cut another one. I've got a short length of donor track, which I'm going to go and fix right now. So get that done, get it glued on with glue and glaze, and this way tomorrow all of this will be ready, and I'm going to make the holes. I'm going to drill the holes right now. Okay, so I've cut a sleeper off this grotty bit of track here, and you can see that I've trimmed a bit less off compared to this one, because I have to get round this large blob of solder. And this way that will sit nice, and if we turn it over, it will look very nice. There we go. So I'm going to just fill this on with glue and glaze, and then we'll be set by tomorrow morning, and tomorrow we can get this here refitted, and that'll be the job finished. Okay, so I've glued that sleeper on to the rails, and I'm using a locomotive to ballast it, as ballast to weigh it down. That way the glue and glaze will set, and tomorrow, so like in real life, you test bridges with locomotives and things like that. I am ballasting the track using a locomotive. This is the gear driven 3-pole motor 040TA, the noisy one, but this one doesn't slip. Closed cab, green tanks. Very well. So here's the finished result. The two soldered wires, there and there, and the sleeper, which I fitted. I fitted it on with glue and glaze, and that's it. And that looks very nice. So that's the new power track. So next job, we have to get it fitted. Okay, right, I refitted the power track, and the wires go down this hole and reappear over here. I've already fitted one male contact for contact. These are off contacts used for cars, car radios and other bits and pieces. I had a small box here, a few left, you can see in there. There you go, a few. There's the males, here's the females. Stuff that I bought 20 years ago. And now I'm going to fit the other one. I've just fitted this on, squeezing it with the pliers, so no soldering. Okay, that's it. Finished making the contacts. Here they are. They just sit here like this. There you go. Keep them pressed in there. I fit my crocodile clips to it, like that. Pico controller, on we go. Okay, so that job's finished. Then we'll have a final test in the next clip, running two trains on the layout with two separate controllers. And I'm not doing it now because I'd have to fish a controller. I'd have to take a mechanical controller out of the box for the sideline, for the siding, and then operate the main line on the Pico one, but I'm not doing it now, it's late. Right, so see you in the next clip. Oh well, welcome to Chapelon Crosti. This row of houses here is getting refurbished. Hopefully. This will be the position of these cottages right here, from these this row of, not really cottages, these are semi-detached houses, or terraced houses, that's better. The goods shed is busy. Now we're going to do some double train running on the small layout. So I'm going to just get things going. We've got two controllers, the Mechano for the main line, and the Pico, which is more suitable for shunting, for the siding. So let's begin. So while the rail car is on the main line, the O3OT A Boer is going to go and pick up its train. Of course, it would be nice if we had another point to come out there and to just bring these round and then join back up, but the space is what it is. Now, you can see that the green rail bus is not moving because it's sitting on top of an old piece of plastic folder, so it's completely insulated from the line. I am thinking to fit a switch, only a switch on only one rail up here, to be able to park a train in a siding, in this siding which is actually on the main line, and at that point stop my train in the siding, on the main line siding, switch it off, and then come out with this train here, with a train that's shunting, and I can come all the way out and join the main line while insulating the train, the locomotive that's on the main line. To do that is very simple. Of course, it would be easier if I had straights, because I would be able to, I have some lengths of Jouef straights which have got the interruption. That would be absolutely fantastic, but I'm on a bend, so I'm simply going to have to do the same job as I did over here. Oops. I'll have to put insulated fish plate, at least one insulated fish plate. I like to have double, complete, total, how do you call it, insulation. So I might go for total insulation anyway, and just fit another switch box over there in that corner there, right? That could be very simple to do, and yep, I might very well do that, and then just put another wee building on top of it. There's a very nice Jouef small church that I could use. That might be an idea. At the moment I don't have a small church, so we'll see what to do about that. But that might be an idea, to simply interrupt the line. For the moment, it's not urgent. It's something that can be done. It's anyway in the siding over here, and that would be nice, I think. Let me know what you think. Should I just get another? I could even just interrupt just one rail. That would be easier, simpler, much easier. The only problem is that this board is actually thick, so you need to do this job here, because the switch doesn't, these switches here don't go, are not tall enough to fit through the 9mm board, meaning that just there I wouldn't be able to screw them down, etc, etc. So, or to have the nice on and off switches on them, so that's the point. Might do that, might be an idea. And let me know what you say, because this would allow me to park a train, switch it off, quiet, and now that I think about it, but of course it would have been handy to have all the switch gear here. It could have actually been insulated right there, no? And then proceeded. So to insulate this whole length here, I could even do it further over. It's not really a problem. It's easy done. Let's see. I'm not sure what to do. Okie doke. Let's give it a final swing. And I think that shunting is actually better if I have the locomotive at the front, because I can leave my wagons over there, go in to collect them, come back out, and I can have the shunting locomotive, then push them onto here, and maybe have a goods train going round, and a goods train can back up and pick up the new wagons. Or I can stop the goods train here and have the shunting locomotive shunt, pass along, and just push out the wagons that need to be coupled up to the goods train, and that's another thing we can do. And we can do everything here on top of the points, interrupting the main line because the points. There's lots of things we can do. So we'll see. I'll see what to do about over there anyway. It would be interesting to be able to just stop, switch off a locomotive completely, and then just bring this train out like that, and join the main line. And then after, as that is, yes, we can see. Okay. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this series, this longish video, and let me know what you think and any suggestions. Cheerio, and see you next time, and good night. So, Chapelon Crosti is finally taking shape. And next job, we have to fit all the lights. So we'll be working on the lights and fitting all the lights.